With everybody's favourite mutant franchise set to claw its way back onto the big screen in May with X-Men Apocalypse, it seems like the perfect chance to look back on what we've seen so far. From Bryan Singer's X-Men debut in 2000 to 2014's time-bending Days of Future Past, we've had some pretty exhilarating highs and a few forgettable lows. But which one was the greatest? I'm Alison Nichol and here's SquareEyed's X-Men films ranked from best to worst. While we don't hate Wolverine's X-Men Origins film, it is undeniably the weakest of the seven. Gavin Hood's misguided origin story for Logan was hampered by a poor script and a series of meaningless action sequences. Meaningless because Wolverine is unstoppable and feels no pain. The movie did have a few moments to savour, like Liev Schreiber's excellent turn as Sabretooth, but Deadpool's controversial appearance as Weapon 11 and a deeply uninteresting plot gave Origins an uphill battle it was unable to overcome. Hugh Jackman himself admitted he was disappointed with the final outcome, saying it fell short of expectations. When the man himself says it, it's hard to argue. You can't fault The Last Stand for not being ambitious. It had a massive cast, was huge in scope, and promised a lot from the idea of a mutant cure, but it sadly wasn't the epic, trilogy-ending spectacular fans were hoping for in 2006. While the climactic battle was an impressive feat in effects and CGI, Brett Ratner's Last Stand never really stood a chance with the horrendous miscasting of Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut. In retrospect, we can perhaps blame Superman Returns for the failures of Last Stand, as it forced Bryan Singer to swap mutants for Metropolis. But Ratner still failed to recapture the deeper moments of its predecessors, instead opting for a wham-bam approach that didn't quite match up. After Gavin Hood's unsuccessful attempt at giving Wolverine the film he deserved, Fox turned to James Mangold, who boasted an eclectic filmography including Identity, Walk the Line and 3:10 to Yuma. Mangold managed to portray Wolverine as both dramatic and entertaining, making us feel closer to the character we know and love. The film had a more deliberate pace and darker tone, which some loved and some hated. Ultimately, the rather dull and flat action sequences were only partially saved by Jackman, and we're hoping that the untitled sequel, due to be released in 2017, finally gives us the definitive Wolverine film we've been craving.
Run, now!
Days of Future Past was a different proposition for Bryan Singer, who was tasked with living up to Matthew Vaughn's excellent prequel First Class, which we'll come to later. Luckily for Singer, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender and Jennifer Lawrence all delivered as Professor X, Magneto and Mystique respectively, while the Quicksilver sequence was undeniably the most visually impressive scene we've witnessed in a comic book movie. However, with so many characters on board and a rather disappointingly underwritten villain in Peter Dinklage's Trask, Days of Future Past barely managed to keep its scrambled plot together and left us with a whole host of unanswered questions.
But there never seems to be enough time to do the things you want to do once you find them. I looked around enough to know that you're the one I want to go through time with.
It's important to remember that when Bryan Singer's X-Men arrived in 2000, the superhero genre was in extremely poor health. Coming 3 years after Joel Schumacher's laughably bad Batman and Robin, Singer proved that with a strong script and an excellent ensemble cast that preferably doesn't include repeated one-liners from Arnie's Mr. Freeze, the genre was still bankable. Thanks to perfectly casting Professor X, Magneto and Wolverine with Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen and Hugh Jackman, Singer got the X-Men universe off to a thrilling and surprisingly heartfelt start. Oh yeah, and Wolverine's introduction is easily one of the best we've ever seen from a comic book character. They really nailed that scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's winner and still king of the cage, the Wolverine.
5 years after The Last Stand, X-Men First Class breathed exciting new life into the franchise and completely restored our faith in the mutant universe. Stylishly and confidently directed by Matthew Vaughn, First Class maintained a strong focus on character development while seamlessly blending with dazzling visual effects. First Class was that rare cinematic beast, a blockbuster with brains that featured an outstanding performance from Fassbender, who managed to conjure up Tarantino-esque levels of tension in the scene where Magneto kills 3 former Nazi soldiers. It's breathtaking stuff and enough to elevate First Class to second spot.
Let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster.
While we acknowledge the importance of the first film setting the wheels in motion, X2 managed to surpass the predecessor in almost every conceivable way. Benefiting from a rock-solid foundation, Singer was able to focus solely on the story, introducing the fascinating narrative element of humanity's suspicions of the mutant race. Brian Cox was gloriously unlikable as the villainous Stryker, and Nightcrawler's attempted assassination of the president is a moment we could watch over and over again. Quite simply, X2 is one of the best sequels of any kind, and for us, the best X-Men movie of all time.
This is just a misunderstanding.
Put the knives down!
I can't. Look.
That's our ranking of the 7 X-Men films we've seen so far. Apocalypse has plenty of promise, but it would be an immensely impressive accomplishment for it to better some of the brilliant, electrifying moments we've already been treated to. Of course, rankings are purely subjective, so make sure to sound off in the comments below with your version. Make sure to subscribe to SquareEyed for plenty more, but you can watch our X-Men Apocalypse trailer breakdown right now by clicking the link. I've been Alison Nichol, thanks for watching and see you again next time. Click left to check out where X-Men Apocalypse ranks in our video listing the 7 most anticipated comic book movies of 2016, or right if you want to delve into Suicide Squad, DC's band of anti-heroes.